Hey, what's going on? Justin Williams here, host of the House Flipping HQ podcast and founder of the 7-Figure Flipping Group and other House Flipping HQ coaching programs. I want to be the very first to welcome you to the House Flipping HQ community. If you're brand new, if you have been with us for a while, I want to say, what's up? So here's the deal. For some reason, you are at this application page. That means that you are interested in taking your house flipping or wholesaling business to the next level. So congratulations to that. I have seen countless lives, hundreds and hundreds of people change their life through this business, whether they've already been in this business, whether you're an experienced investor who wants to create a true business and get to that seven-figure mark, or you're someone who's brand new and just wants to get started. We have a coaching program for you. Now, the 7-Figure Flipping Group, in order to be able to qualify for that group, you have to be making at least 6 figures a year. Anywhere, 100 grand, couple hundred grand, $500,000, million. You have to be making at least 6 figures per year. Now, if you're not quite there, that's okay. Keep watching this video to the end. Fill out an application, and we have a coaching program that will work for you. So someone from our team will be in contact with you and let you know what might be the better fit if this program is not the right fit for you. So for the rest of you, if you are already in the House Flipping HQ community, you're an avid listener to the podcast, you're familiar with me and my coaches and everyone in the group, then you can go ahead and fill out the application now, and someone from our team will be in touch with you. If you are not familiar with me or House Flipping HQ or this community, then I need you to watch the entire video. In order for us to even consider your application, you need to watch the entire video to the end. What I did is I recently recorded a webinar with my coaches and some of our students who are just rock stars, right? We couldn't include all of them. We couldn't even come close to including very many of them, actually. In fact, in the 7-Figure Flipping Group alone this year, we will have over 24 people who either have or will hit a 7-figure income, and the rest are just short behind them. So clearly we couldn't have all of them, but I invited a few of them to come on. I need you to become familiar with us and the community and what we're all about. So when you hop on the call with someone from our team, you're not skeptical or wondering what's going on. It'll just help you be a lot more qualified. We get hundreds of applications every month, and we can't talk to all of them, let alone work with all of them. Okay, so if you want a chance of being in one of these programs, you have absolutely must either be familiar with us, or you have to watch this video in its entirety. I even encourage you, if you get a chance, do even more due diligence. Listen to some of the podcasts. Do all the due diligence you can, because that'll give you a better chance of making it into one of our programs, because you'll be more familiar with us, okay? So go ahead and finish watching this video. If you are not familiar with us yet, fill out the application. I cannot wait to begin working with you to help you take things to the next level. There's a lot of garbage out there. There's a lot of people who are teaching this business who don't have the experience, don't have the right coaches. They send people to a call center, learn from some college kid in a notebook. And I was just so infuriated by what I was seeing that several years ago, I thought, you know what? We're going to change this. And that's what we're doing. That is our mission. That is our goal. But because of all the guck out there, it's sometimes people associate that with everyone, right? So that's why I need you to be familiar with us, because the people who are familiar with us, that is a non-issue, okay? So go ahead and check this out. Do your due diligence before you apply, and we cannot wait to work with you in taking your house flipping or wholesaling business to the next level here in the next 6 to 12 months. So that's all I got, guys, and we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Yeah. Woo. All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to tonight's webinar. You guys stoked? Who's excited to be here? Woo! Woo! Yeah! Brian says, woo! Wally Reese, let's rock and roll. Robert, good to go. Jeff Turner, hey, what's going on? Jeff, David, what's going on? Yes. Mark Strayer, Paul, what's going on, buddy? Chris, Matthew, Jim, Brian, TC, Zach, Dan, what's going on? Dan, Charlie, I'm totally excited to be here. Chris, what's going on, Chris? Shane, all right. You guys can hear us loud and clear. We are ready to rock this. So the purpose of tonight's call is, I don't know about you guys, but there's so many people out there that wait until New Year's before they start thinking about the next year. And that drives me crazy. I start planning or thinking about how I'm going to absolutely dominate the next year about a month in advance, which just so happens to be right now. So what we've decided to do is I thought, hey, let's get some of the coaches from the House Flipping HQ community, some of our members, some of our students who are absolutely kicking some butt, and have them all get on a call and share the number one thing that helped them explode their house flipping or wholesaling business in 2017, and the number one thing that you guys can do in 2018 to help you get to the same place. I mean, there are literally people on this call tonight who 1 year ago didn't really have a business to speak of. And this year, they're going to do 7 figures. Like, I don't care. I hear people all the time say stuff like, oh, this market's hard. You can't buy a house. I've been hearing that for 10 years, ever since I've been doing this business. It's all the same. I remember after a couple years thinking, I wonder if next year, like, people will stop saying, like, next year is going to be the year, right? And it didn't happen. People have been saying that from the beginning of time, no matter what business they're doing. There's always someone who's making up excuses saying you can't do this business, while there are other people who are dominating it. Well, the people on this call tonight, as well as there's so many other people I could have had on, but Bill and my wife were like, dude, you can't have like 20 or 30 people on this call. Like, we'll be here for 10 hours. So I just had to select a few people to be on tonight, but there are literally over 20 people that we are aware of in our community that will do 7 figures this year. And that's in the 7-figure flipping group alone, right? There are over 20 that will do 7 figures this year. Thousands and thousands of deals are being done on a regular basis. Hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars are being earned. If you are not getting your fair share of that, it's only because you're not doing the same things that everyone else is doing. And the thing I love about this business is because it's local, it's not like, you know, a business, Amazon or different businesses out there that's national and global. Because it's so local, you can duplicate what other people are doing. You can see what other people are doing. You can share those things. It's an abundant mindset mentality, and everyone can help each other grow. So it's really awesome. All right. Can you guys tell I'm fired up? I am so fired up. We ready to rock this? Who's ready to rock this? Let me see some excitement in the chat box. Yeah. Woo! All right. Let's do it. So they're going to give a little bit of their background, and then we're going to have them share the number one thing that has helped them achieve success and the number one thing that can help you blow it up next year. We ready to do this? Let's do it. All right. So let's start with the one and only, the man who, you know, just over 4 years ago, I started, had this crazy idea to teach people how. I created this system where we're doing over 100 flips a year, created a 7-figure business pretty much on autopilot, and got going. It wasn't as easy, you know, starting another business. I thought, oh, no, piece of cake. I've already done a business. It's going to be easy. Wasn't as easy as I thought. I had a huge learning curve, but made it through. And one of the guys that really helped me out, someone I reached out to after being introduced to him by my brother, Steven, was a guy by the name of Andy McFarland, who to this day is one of the most genuine, sincere, amazing people and one of the most incredible investors I've ever in my life. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the one and only Andy McFarland. All right. People are cheering. I love it because when at a live event, you hear everyone cheering. But here you see people in the chat box. Yeah,
I'll clap off screen for myself.
Yeah. So, Andy, I won't steal your thunder, but, I mean, you're on track to do how many? I know Andy doesn't like to brag, so I'm going to brag for him. Right, how many deals are you on track to do this year? We've got a month left. How many have you done? How many are you on track to do?
We'll hit, I think we'll do about 300. I think we'll hit about 300.
Jeez, is that all? Come on, man.
Close to. I think
Dude, save some for the fishes. I guess that's when you're talking about water. All right.
Well, there's enough. There's enough for everybody. There's enough out there.
So cool. So 300 deals. So you guys are doing around 25 per month?
Yep, 25 a month. Sometimes we'll contract more than that, but yeah.
So sure. 25 per month. You're getting more under contract, but some of them fall through, right? So you're going to do 25 per month. You're going to hit over 4 million in revenue.
Yeah, over 4 million.
So awesome, man.
Yeah. So awesome. So do you want me to give a background?
Yeah, give a short little background. Yeah.
Short background. I'll go back. Army brat, grew up all across the United States. I'm the only entrepreneur in my family. I read a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I'm like, I want to do that. I just want to like have, money making money for me. So I got fired from my dock job, and I was buying houses at the time. So I I didn't look back. I just bought houses, fixed them, sold them, learned all along the way. And here I am 15 years later. Never imagined that I would create a business that's flipping houses. I always thought it was just a one-man band thing, but turned it into a business. I've got a lot of people working with me now, which that's a huge blessing in itself. Just making the money's cool, but being able to impact other people's lives, not just clients and customers, but like team members' lives is super cool. So love that. Buy houses. There you go. Live rad. Buy houses in 3 different states, Utah, New Mexico, and Indiana. I have a team of about 18 or 20 people that help me do that in that house buying company. Started another company a couple of years ago helping people with online real estate lead gen, which has been cool too. And obviously we do this stuff. Me and Justin linked up a few years ago, and it's been awesome to have the impact on just other people, being able to share our stories and share the things that are working for us, and also learn from the people that are coming in, the stuff that's working for them. That's been super cool. So the stuff you said earlier, I don't know if you want me to dive right into this, but some of the stuff you said earlier about planning for, that successful people start planning for stuff. So I was like, you could have scripted that any better. Earlier today, I actually spent 2 hours this morning, just kind of like, this time of year, I always get really introspective. It's like December, it always does this to me. I look at what I did the past year, I review my goals more, and I review what I want to do the next year. And not just much in like the business category, but in all categories of life. But specifically business, I spent about 30 minutes this morning starting to just mull over, and this will be a process I do for the next month, of what I want to do in my business next year, and what key things do I need to do to hit those type of goals. And I'm going to show you guys this. Do you want me to be transparent with people?
Let's do it, man.
Yeah. So this is my whiteboard. You guys can see right there. This is where all my master planning and thinking goes. But this right here, the left side of my whiteboard never changes. Well, it changes once a year. So I do my planning, and then I put this up there and I keep it up there so it's in front of me every single day of the year when I'm working in my office. And this says last year. So last year, I put 2017 goals for my business, right? I put 4 million gross projected revenue. That's what I wanted, right? And I put down my KPIs. Here's the Podio leads I need to get per week. Here's my appointments and contracts I need. Here's the deals. Here's the flip wholesale ratio. And here's the rocks, the things I need to do. I need to do this in marketing. I added 4 specific things in marketing I needed to do. My follow-up, my sales, my dispositions, my project management, all of those things. It was not by chance. We did 3 million the year before. And I'm like, how can we do 4 million? I asked myself, that's what we wanted to do. And then I said, what's going to get me there? You guys want the real inside track? I'm going to show you my son that just walked in. Hey.
Yeah.
Because I work from home. But I just knew that he just barged in again. So I asked myself a question. I said, if I want to hit that, how do I get that? And I wrote down my key rocks and things that I knew I needed to do. Each of them, no one of those things got me an extra million plus. It was just each one of those things. I knew if I could tweak it that much more and be that much better with those things, that was what was going to get me there. So anyway, right on track, man. The stuff that you're saying, I've been doing that for years. I see where I want to go, and I make a roadmap to get there, a realistic roadmap, and then just tackle those things one at a time. And it worked. It worked the last couple of years. It worked this year, and hope it works next year too.
It's crazy to me how predictable this business can be. If you do the things that other people are doing, you're going to get the same results, right? I mean, Andy, you didn't start the beginning of the year and say, I can't find any deals. I need to figure out how to find more deals.
That's so funny. So my number one strategy, if you will, is you don't know what you don't know, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel. What you do is you find what's working for somebody else. You implement that in your business, and then you track your numbers and you tweak it as needed. So I look at what's working for other people, and I've just done this recently. I've implemented a marketing strategy that like other people said works for them. So I'm implementing it in my business. I'm going to test it and track it on my own and tweak it a little bit. And then I'm going to take what's working and enhance that. And the stuff that's not working, I'm going to drop that. That's it. I'm just continually out there looking. So stuff that worked 10 years ago is not necessarily working today. We have a thing called like Facebook today. You know, a lot of like cold calling technologies like increase these days. Google pay-per-click and Bing, what the heck was that, right? So all these things that weren't around 10 years ago that are around now, you look around at the laboratories of people who are successful and say, what are they doing? What are their numbers? Can it work for me? And certainly there are things that work different in different parts of the country. Like sometimes bandit signs work better in certain parts of the country than others. Certain competitive markets, direct mail might not be as good as other markets, but you see what they're doing. You apply that to your business. You test, track, tweak it, and then you just move on from there. So that's absolutely in 2018. I'm going to take some of the stuff that worked well for 2017. I'm going to enhance that, and stuff that didn't work well, I'm going to drop it off and add new things in there. I'm continually testing and tracking everything I'm doing to try to maximize. And I'm surrounding myself with people who are where I want to be in different categories, right? People might look at me and say, oh, you did $4 million, or $4.5 million in business this year. Yeah, but I'm not as good at rehabs as Don Costa is. I'm not as good at certain things as, like cold calling strategies. I've never done that stuff before. So I take those things I see from other people. I'm like, I wonder if that'll work for me. And then I'll plug it into my business and test and track and see. So anyway.
Love
I
it,
get
man.
excited too, man. You get me excited too.
I'm so bad. Like, I want to keep going and digging in, but I'm like, wait, if I take an hour with each person,
I know.
I'll get in trouble again.
These guys are rock stars.
I'll get in trouble. Awesome. Andy, you're the man. We appreciate your feedback. Feel free to hop in if you do have another comment along the way. So
I'll be clapping.
All right. Andy McFarland. Woo! Awesome. Okay, next up. So these guys, they joined the 7-figure group. We started the 7-figure group just over 2 years ago, which is mind-blowing, right? Isn't it crazy? It's just 2 years ago. And Mike Cowper and Mike Simmons were two of the first guys who reached out. I knew Mike Simmons previously, and these guys were doing the decent amount of volume already, but like, hey, we want to take it to the next level. We've seen what you and Andy are doing. We want to get in there and plunder and pillage and take it all. Is that okay? And I said, absolutely. Andy loves being plundered. So jump in there, take everything you need. And they did it. And they were the first people that year, our first year, they're the first guys to get to the 7-figure mark. We sent them on a trip to Fiji. That's a whole nother story, but that was awesome. And it's really cool because we joke about how they were kind of like the 4-minute mile guys. And now this year we have over 20 people that are hitting, or we had some people that came in that were already at 7 figures, like Don, what can I say? But but we've had 20 people hit that number yet. So they've been a great example. They're also a couple of our coaches in the House Flipping HQ programs. And ladies and gentlemen, I give to you Mike Simmons and Mike Cowper. Woo!
So
I don't know if you guys, did you guys want to go separate or together? Anyway, go ahead.
I don't know. I don't know if we can talk at the same time. Mike, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. So I guess my background was I was in sales basically my entire career from coming out of college. Always had a dream of getting into real estate. Finally, one night, my best man sat me down and said, hey, you just got to start doing something. So the next day I found the local RIA. I went to the class and I signed up for a mentorship program. And I would honestly say almost 100% of my success has become from being in rooms with people that are better than me, further ahead than me. So I started my first investing in 2014. I went to my first group in September of 14, bought my first house November 5th of 2014. And almost 3 years later, we're doing, over $1 million a year now. So that was the first step. The next step I took was, realizing I didn't know everything, started reaching out to different people in my local network, local people that were investing. I found Mike, and he was further ahead than me. He knew flipping. He was doing direct marketing. I offered to work for him for free. He was gracious enough to actually pay me to work for him. And, I learned a lot from just being his apprentice. So I didn't know how to do rehab. I know any of those costs and stuff like that. Rentals are a little bit different game than a flipping model. So, you can fudge the numbers a hair on rentals because over a long period of time, you should eventually, shake free of that. But Mike was able to teach me more about all of the ins and outs of real estate, of the actual, renovations costs. And I could bring my skill set to his business in the fashion of being a good salesperson. We decided to partner up. And then we, we're having some pretty good success, but not near the level we wanted. So then we joined another group. We kept going higher and higher to bigger networks that were better than us so we could follow people that have already done it. And that was joining the 7-figure flipping group. And that exponentially increased our business. And we've continued to be able to grow upon, other people. We're standing on the shoulders of giants. We're not anything special. We don't do anything unique. We just take action and we follow processes that have been proven. It's not that creative of an industry, to be honest. I mean, there's probably creative things out there and there's creative ways to do different things, but the general format's not that hard if you can find the roadmap to success. And we've been fortunate enough to find ourselves in rooms and in groups with people that are better than us that we can basically, pillage from.
Love it, man. I love pillaging.
Pillaging, is that right? Okay, yeah. Pillaging. Yeah. So, again, my name is Mike Simmons. Mike and I are partners in our business, and we're in Michigan, so I was in automotive industry. I was working in that industry for quite some time. What got me into real estate, what made me really get the bug and really decide that I needed to take action was I was in my early 30s and I was kind of doing the math and extrapolating like what I make and what you need to retire. like a lot of us do at some point, we start thinking about retirement. A lot of times in our 20s, we're not thinking about it, but when you start getting your 30s, you really start thinking about it. And as I thought about it and kind of was doing the math, I realized I don't make enough. I probably won't make enough. Like, I'm never going to get there. I'm going to be 150 years old before I can retire. So I started looking into different ways to invest and different ways to invest money and to have my money work for me. And I started off stock market, like thinking about, I got to learn the stock market, right? So I started reading books and looking online, and I mean, it was insanely boring. I hated it. But what I found as I was Googling investing was real estate investing. And I kind of stumbled onto it and kind of fell in love with it. I realized that this was something I could really be interested in, something I could really invest my time and my energy and kind of pin my hopes for my future and what I want to do on, because I just loved it. So I got involved, started flipping houses, was doing that, not doing a great job, didn't have a mentor, didn't know exactly what I was doing, but I was figuring it out slowly, kind of making a lot of mistakes and refining a little bit as I went. And we kind of all know what happened a few years ago. It got a little harder to find deals. So I started doing direct marketing and kind of finding deals through direct marketing as opposed to the MLS. Got more into the wholesaling side, and that's when I met Mike. He came aboard, was asking for help to learn the business, and I recognized with him that he's a great salesperson. He's a sales background. He's great at that. So I brought him in because I realized that is what we were doing, that we were in a sales business. So I brought him in to help me with that, and we were doing okay. Like Justin said, we were doing a couple deals a month, right? Like I thought about when I started this business, if I could just do a couple deals a month, like that's great, right? I'm done. But as soon as you get to a point in your business, you realize your goal is really much higher. So we knew we wanted to do more. We had a $250,000 business. We were doing okay. That's when we joined the 7-Figure Flipping program and got involved with Justin. Like Justin said, I had known him. We both started a podcast about the same time. And we took our business from $250,000 to $1 million, like in 12 months. Like, and really all we did, like the secret sauce, like, how did you do that? How did you get to $1 million so fast? You know what? It's easy. And so far, Andy has said it in so many words, and Mike just said it in so many words. It's execution, guys. It is execution. It's understanding and learning from people who are where you want to be, not trying to reinvent it, not overthinking it, asking them what they're doing. What is it that you got, what that got you there, and applying it and executing, right? Sometimes techniques and specific, like what market and what do you say on your card when you mail it out? That's almost a drug, and it's almost sometimes you can't satisfy the need for more techniques. Sometimes what you need to do is make a decision and go do it, right? Mike said his best man sat him down. I'm sure there's a point where Andy said, I'm just going to do this thing, right? And they execute. But the best thing you can do for yourself to save yourself the 6 years it took me to figure things out is to get a mentor, have a mentor, get involved with a group of people who are doing it at a higher level than you, and then execute. Just apply what they're doing. And like Andy said, apply it, track it, tweak it, and move forward. That's all we've done. Mike and I, it's all we've done. We've taken things that Andy was doing and a few other people in the group. We've applied it, we've tweaked it, and we've executed. That is 100% the reason we got to where we've gotten. And I would bet you, all the people you're going to hear tonight, there's going to be a common theme. And if you get to know them, they're executors. They go out and do it. They don't talk about it very long. They talk, they find out what's working, bam, they execute it. And that's the bottom line.
You know what's crazy, Mike? As maybe somewhat unsexy as this common theme I'm hearing might be, of find people who are succeeding at the high level that you want to succeed at and execute that. There will be some people who might listen and might totally overlook that, or might get a little frustrated because they're looking for the one that, like, you know, some of the gurus out there, right, that don't really teach you how to actually build a real business, but just say, ooh, there's this like magic potion thing. Yeah. And for, you know, like, and they're going to get frustrated because that's what we teach. We teach people to actually build a business. I mean, that's what we're doing. It's building a business. It doesn't happen overnight, but if you put in the time and the effort and you duplicate what people are doing, it'll change your life.
Everybody learns from mistakes, but they don't have to be yours. And a lot of us have already made those mistakes for a lot of different reasons and whatnot. And you can learn from those different mistakes by being a part of a group like this.
Love it, man. That's awesome.
Totally.
So I'm going to go back to Andy and ask him this too, but what is your guys' goals for 2018?
I always want to hear what Bill's doing and then make my goal just a little bit higher.
That's why we're going to go first.
I know. I wish you would have asked Bill first. That would have been a funnier answer. For Mike and I, honestly, we have a meeting literally. Yep, we want to do 5.5 million. 10.5, right? Oh, we have to do 20.5 though, because ours get cut in half. That's right. Mike and I literally have a meeting tomorrow, 90 minutes, closed door meeting, turn off the phones to sit down and actually map out what we want to do in 2018. But I kind of know where we want to be. Honestly, I know it sounds like a joke, but we kind of want to get to that 4 million mark. I know we want to kind of hit where Andy is right now.
Awesome.
But again, it's sort of fun, right? It's sort of like in a group like this, or in a setting where you're dealing with people who are at a higher level, like revenue wise or whatever, just in the business, it's fun to chase a little bit, right? It's easy when you kind of have someone who's just a little bit ahead of you that you can chase. It makes it tangible, right? We can see where Andy's at, and if we can get there, that's huge, right? So it's not about what Andy's doing, but he happens to be at a point where we want to get to. So somewhere in that $4 million range.
So my team doesn't know about this stuff yet. So if anybody's watching this, they're gonna be like, "What? We're gonna do what?" So I've been doing the same. I just started earlier today. You guys can't see this. You guys probably can't see this chicken scratch. But this is literally what's up on my whiteboard from today. This was my 2 hours of I think on paper, right? So the goal is probably going to be 5.5 with a stretch of 6. Like awesome. I'm not one of those guys that just like shoots like way for the moon. Like I went from 2 to 3, 3 to 4. We'll do like 4.4 probably this year. And then like 5.5 seems like next year. But every time I look at it realistically, I'm like, oh, what do we have to do? And I write, what the heck do we have to do to squeeze an extra $1 million or $1.5 million out of what we're already doing? And I take that seriously, right? So
I love it. And whenever I make a goal, like I'll make the goal I want it to be, and then I work backwards, just how you're talking about, Andy. Like, what did we do to get here? Now, it's a numbers game, right? You guys have heard that. It's a numbers game. Just do more of that. So, all right, let's give Mike and Mike a round of applause. Awesome. Kyle, I just want to make sure I'm seeing like on my screen all these lovely people. I know you like to keep it to like the one person. Make sure you're kind of going back and forth so we can see everybody, all right?
For sure.
Awesome. All right, next up, we have a person who just over 2 years ago, I've mentioned this a few times, but he shows up to the 7-figure event. I'm like, who is this guy? I find out that he only did 2 deals the year before, actually 1 flip and 1 rental. We got to get it straight, right? And I was like, how did he make it into the 7-figure group? He's not qualified. How did this happen? Meeting went on. I'm like, okay, he's kind of sharp. Maybe this will work out. That year, this person did almost 70 deals. And this year he's on track. I'll let him correct me, but around 180 to 190, maybe 2. Anyway, he's on track to do a lot of deals this year. So ladies and gentlemen, I give you one of the most genuine people I know, the most amazing people I know. He's been through a lot. And I see Andy getting ready to go. And we've recently brought him on to help even more with the community. He's been a huge help to me as the community has grown, as Bill can attest. There's an iceberg, right? There's a lot more that goes on in any business than anyone ever sees. And just like anyone, I'm building out my team. Bill, someone I brought on, he's been a huge help. I cannot thank him enough. Love having him in the group. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Bill Allen. Woo! Woo! All right. You got it down. Everyone knows to like unmute themselves right before, right? And
yeah, I'm unmuted, right? You can hear me?
You are. He's the Wonder Boy, Christina. The Wonder Boy. Yeah, it's sticking. Nice. I love it.
Yeah. We're going to change that. Yeah, so my name's Bill. I started in Pensacola. So I was in the military. Andy said he was an Army brat. I was in the Navy. My dad was in the Navy too. I did 14 and a half years active duty and flying airplanes and helicopters for the Navy. So, and kind of along Mike's story, I was trying to figure out a way to retire. I was always really good saving money and doing all that stuff. So, but my money wasn't growing the way they said it was on paper and in the books and the stock market and everything. So I was constantly searching for other ways to make money. When I was a kid, I was like flipping candy bars for profit. And I almost got kicked out of my middle school because I had a little store opened up before school opened. And it was, marking up candy bars that we would get at the commissary for really cheap in bulk. So stuff like that. Gum was one of my best sellers. And then I did baseball cards, and I was just I didn't really even know that I was an entrepreneur then. And then, got a W-2 job with the military, really enjoyed it, said I would do it forever as long as I liked what I was doing, and I always did. But they were going to take me out of the cockpit soon and put me on a desk. So I was looking for another way to make money, and it brought me to real estate, a lot like Mike. I was in forums. Some people would talk about real estate, and then I looked into it. So I bought a couple rentals. I moved with the military. I moved 13 times in 14 years. So every time I would move, after my first 5 years or so in the military, I'd buy a house. I was still single for a lot of that. I would fix it up, live in it, move out, rent it out. And then I'd buy in rentals, like Justin said, I'd buy like a rental a year. I was running out of money. So I flipped my first house in 2014. 2014, I did a flip, and I was just flipping to buy another rental, and then I'd run out of money again. And then in 2015, I bought another house to flip when I moved to Florida. And I was doing everything myself as that person that would go to the project on my way to work, on my way home from work. I worked about 10 or 12 hours a day flying airplanes, and I would stop by and then I'd come back on my way home. And during that time, I was working a full 50, 60 hours for the Navy. And I was working another 20 or 30 hours on my quote unquote flipping business, which was flipping one house. And all I really wanted to do was replace my military income when I retired 5-6 years later. So during that time, that's when I found your podcast, Justin. I didn't know anything about this community. And I remember I was driving to and from, stopping by all the time and thinking, something's got to change. Like if I'm going to do this and still fly airplanes full time, something's got to give here. So that House Flipping HQ podcast was one of a few that I would listen to on my way to work and way home from work. And Justin's talking about how he's flipping like 150 houses a year and not even looking at them. And I'm thinking he's full of it. There's no way, all this stuff. But then I keep listening, and something about Justin and the people that he would bring on or what he would talk about really kind of stuck with me, So I read a lot about the gurus and the coaching, and I thought it was, at that time, everybody kind of convinces you that it's a scam, right? You pay all this money, they send you somewhere, you get screwed over. And it was the same time where all the flipping shows were really popular, and some of those people were doing some coaching, and it wasn't great, right? And so for Justin told a story one time that he did a coaching program like that and got screwed over. He won the competition. They didn't give him the call. I think it was a car, right?
Yep.
And that really it made him genuine. It was like this guy's really a human coach. He's a good person. And that kind of came across to me through my radio somehow. And that was the same time that Seven Figure Flipping was starting. And I remember listening to Mike and Mike on their podcast with Justin talking about what they want to do. They're going to be the first one, race to 1 million. And I was just blown away that this was possible. And just listening to those podcasts, it just kind of sucked me in. I didn't know anyone. I didn't know Justin. I just listened to podcasts. We closed on that flip, and I said, you know what? I'm going to take the money from that flip, half the money that we made, and I'm going to invest it in myself and my education. I have a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in engineering. So I've been paying a lot of money. Well, your taxpayer dollars have paid a lot of money for my college tuition, but I've been through a lot of school. And then, I also went through flight school and had to get my wings. And then I went to test pilot school. And that was the hardest thing I've ever done. And all of this schooling my whole life. So I said, well, I'm a glutton for punishment. I like education. So let's try it out. What's the worst thing that can happen, right? And the way that I looked at it was, if I just did one more deal because of that amount of money that I invested in myself and my education and what I got from that, then it would pay for itself. So instead of doing one deal this next year, if I did 2, and really I wanted to do 10, and then it would pay for itself, right? And like Justin said, I think we did 67 or 68 or 70, something like that. I mean, it was only a year ago, but it feels like 10. but that's what we did. And it was just incredible to get into that community, show up, see these celebrities that I heard on the radio and the podcast and things like that, but realize they're just were normal people, just like me. In fact, like sometimes Justin can't even like find his keys and stuff like that. It's just shocking to me, some of the stuff that, and like what he talks about in the podcast is like, I don't even really know how to fix this or it's true. I know him now. It's true.
You know me a lot better in the last month, right?
Yeah.
I can attest to all of this. It's all true.
This is live. You want this to be raw and real? I actually just pulled up my notes, my first phone call with you, Bill. Can I share?
Yeah, please do. Yeah. I watched it the other day, by the way.
Oh, you watched it? I guess he recorded it. So it was December 11th, 2015. And I wrote a lot of different notes in there, just the stuff that you told me about and everything. But you said your goals are this, but you want to clarify. But your goals were this. Year 1, flip 12 houses and make $300,000. Year 3, systemize house flipping business. So I think you did better than in year 1 and better than in year on 3. Then not to year 3 yet. So there you go, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, and what Andy didn't say was I said I never want to hire anybody. I'm scared to have an employee or anybody that I'm responsible for. And now I have a Christmas party next week with 16 people that are contractors or employees of mine and my company. And that's really what Andy touched on it, is doing this for the money is one thing, but that's not what it's about anymore. It was a journey of mine to start that way. And I thought that's what I wanted. I wanted to be this person that made money. And now it's just secondary. If I help all of those people get what they want, I'm going to get what I want. And those people are the most important thing for me in this business now. And like when I talk about my goals, it revolves around them and what they do and how successful they are, because I can't be successful without them. And they know that too. So this community has really been, and the same thing, like I look up to Andy, and I came to that meeting, not even, the first call with you, Andy, I didn't know who he was. I mean, believe it or not, Andy, I can't believe it.
Super hard the first 10 minutes, man. I remember that. I mean, think about it. He's a pilot, type A personality. He's used to like being in control of stuff. I mean, he postured hard. Like he really gave me who are you and why should I care about what you're saying?
No way.
Cool. We'll play back the recording.
All right. But yeah, I mean, just getting in that room, that first meeting was really cool to just because I was the dumbest person in that room, in my opinion, as far as real estate went. There's no doubt about it. I mean, that's I'll talk about the one or two things that I really think, but for me, I want to be the dumbest person in the room. I want to be the person who knows the least and has done the least in that room. And if I'm doing the most, or I'm the smartest guy in the room and I know everything and I can't learn anything, I got to find another room to go to. So I was in the wrong rooms for a long time in everything that I was doing. And I've always been striving to be the best. So like Mike talks about that, like I am one of the most competitive people I've ever met. And I want to be, I'm so glad that Andy's had such a head start on me, because like I don't ever really want to catch him, because when you catch him, you go, now what do I do? So, but and that's
beat me at ping pong in my own basement. We're playing ping pong. I couldn't even beat him in my own basement, and I'm not bad at ping pong.
But I trained really hard for that event. So that's the thing with me is I absolutely love this community. I was able to come in here doing nothing, grow a business to do $600 some thousand last year in gross revenue, on track to do somewhere around 1.3 to 1.5 this year, depending on how our month goes this month, and almost like Justin said, 185 deals or so. I didn't meet where I wanted to be, but after the first half of the year, in the beginning of the year, I just wanted to do 7 figures, because that's the name of the group, right? I got to make it, and as fast as I can. I wanted to be on that track by the end of last year. I didn't want to wait. And man, am I disappointed that 23 other people or so made it. I watered it down, but it's so awesome though, right? So yeah, for me, it's just been incredible to do this. And Justin seems to plan these things like every time I have like a monumental time in my life as far as my family goes. The biggest thing for me was I left the military active duty in April of this year. I was able to leave full-time active duty and work from my house.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's good. I still get to fly airplanes part-time in the reserves, but my son, we had a problem. We had to pick up and move when we found out he was going to be born with a heart defect. And we picked up in 2 weeks. We were able to I packed all of our things into a 25-foot moving truck, and we moved here to Nashville, where I live now. And 2 weeks later, he was born. A month after that, which just happens to be today, November 30th, 2016, we just got to see my son for the first time after his heart surgery today last year. So that season that I was in last year was the hardest season of my life ever. I mean, he's had 4 open heart surgeries in the first 6 months of his life, but this business and this community that brought me to where I am right now allowed me to just leave everything, buy a house cash, know enough to buy a house here in Nashville cash and close in like 10 days, move all my stuff up here, get my family situated, and not have to worry about money or paying our mortgage or doing all those things, and be able to go to the hospital every single day. Well, fortunately, my business was at a position that it ran by itself while I was in the hospital, and they were holding things together without me because we had built such a great team. And I wouldn't have been able to do that without, half the people on this call that were so instrumental in that in my life. And it's really cool to look at my son now and be in the season of the holiday season right now and not have to go to the hospital and not have to worry about seeing him like that again and going through all that, and just seeing how happy he is and being home with my family during this time and running a business from my home that I can go to the doctors with him and stuff. So really cool. And I want to thank all you guys for that. And bringing me to where we are now, which is, I'm so excited about, what we're going to do in the future and the future of this business. So surround yourself with the right people, put yourself in the right room. And when you sit next to someone who did $3 million in their house flipping business last year, and they drive like an old Acura, they wear t-shirts, jeans, and sandals, and you would have no idea if you were sitting next to them at church or in the grocery store or whatever. And that was the mind shift for me, that it's possible. You can do it too. And I wanted to be a millionaire at some point in my life. I figured I'd be like 70 or 60 or 50 and I could retire. I didn't think that somebody could do it in a year. So until you surround yourself with people like that, that think like that and do like that, I don't know, you'll still be just kind of working for a paycheck and doing what you've always done. So get outside the box a little bit and try something new. And that's what I did. And I took a risk. What I thought was a risk. Now looking back, it's like, man, I wish I did that. I wish this was available like 5-10 years ago. I would have done it then. So really cool stuff. And I'm thankful for this group and all of you on the call, and being able to give back to this community is my passion, and I love it. So
that's awesome. Thanks, Bill. And thank you again for your service. A lot of people have mentioned that. And it's been so awesome to see your journey and your son. And we've all been thinking and praying about baby James, and it's crazy to see him strong and healthy, and it's awesome, man. So
it is. Hey, my goal. I want 6. My goal next year, Simmons, you ready for this? I want 7 of the people in my company to make 6 figures. That's my goal next year.
8 people to make 6 figures. That's a decent goal, though, Bill. You're fine. That's a good goal.
That is my goal next year. And if we do that, I know what we'll do.
That is awesome. Yeah. I love that.
That's my goal next year. Man. I hope that we can do it. So.
That's really awesome.
Well, Mike, me at 7 and you at 8 is the same, because you and Mike each hopefully will make 7 figures.
Oh, no, we need 14 people to make 6 figures. It's ridiculous.
Oh, man. Awesome. Thank you, Bill. Everyone give Bill a round of applause. Awesome. All right. So this next individual literally Voxed me. If you guys know what Voxer is, it's like texting audioly. So he literally Voxed me like 10 minutes before the call, before he wasn't gonna be able to make it. He's like, hey, I was able to get my kids down. I'm situated. I'm gonna hop on. So Kyle sent him the link. He's here. Steve, I know you've been in the business a while. I'm gonna let you give a little more of your background, but you did have something really exciting to share. And I also love that you're sporting that new office, man. Looking good, dude. Looking good.
Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the one and only Steve Lippman. Yeah. So, Steve, you have something exciting to share. Something happened today that's pretty exciting, right? Do you want to share that first?
So pretty good day. You know, we closed our largest wholesale deal to date. So we did a 6-figure wholesale deal today for $250,000.
Whoa!
250?
That's so cool, man.
So, you know, we had a monster day. We've been working on a subdivision land deal for just about a year now. And Travis, my partner, isn't able to jump on here today. But, yeah, so 24
He's swimming in the money right now. He got it in cash and swimming in the money, isn't he?
That's right. He's McDucking it right now. So
that's so
awesome.
Yeah,
so that was a fun day. You know, I'm in the Central Jersey market. Travis and I started our business almost 6 years ago to the day. We did it for 5 years through Hurricane Sandy after that happened in New Jersey, and that kind of hurt us for the first year or two. It created some opportunity on the back end of it, but for 5 years we did maybe, you know, a couple $100,000 tops. It was kind of where we were at. And if anybody's listening to Justin's podcast, you'll hear us tell this story, but Travis was on his 3rd trip to Home Depot that day. We have like 2 or 3 flips going, and he's been listening to Justin's podcast. I had not been yet. And he was like, dude, there's this guy telling us that we're doing this all wrong through his podcast. He's doing 100 deals a year. And like Bill very much, I was like, yeah, he's also lying to you. And I don't believe it. And so we listened to a couple of podcasts together, and I said, yeah, let's call this dude and let's see what we need to do. So we joined House Flipping Formula, I think in February of this year. And we got the Flip Packing Live from last October. And Travis and I went into our respective basements for 4 days and listened to it nonstop, and came out, and our light bulbs were going off, and we realized, hey, you know, we've done this business for 5 years the really hard way. We were digging on deals for MLS, and we were, you know, sending out 1,000 mailers at one time, getting one deal, and then choking that deal to death until we finally closed it and then had no more deals. And, you know, so we did it the hard way. We had no systems. We knew that we wanted to scale our business. And, you know, so Trav's at Home Depot for the 3rd time one day, and he's like, we got to change this, you know, we know that there's people out there that are scaling this business. And if we want to do the volume that we want to do, and we always said that 100 deals a year was where we wanted to be, we have to change something. So House Flipping HQ, Flip Hacking Live, videos. 2 days later, we joined 7-Figure Flipping. You know, we heard the amount of content that came out of Flip Hacking Live and the content that was coming through your podcast. And we just said, look, whatever it takes, we got to get in a room with these guys and figure out exactly what the blueprint looks like. And, you know, watching Mike and Mike get to $1 million in a year, and then watching Bill follow suit soon thereafter. I mean, we'll do it in 9 or 10 months. And, you know, like Mike Cowper said before, it's not because we're doing anything special. It's not because we're smarter than anybody else. We're learning from everybody else giving this amazing content that's tried and true. And, you know, so I don't think that our 9 or 10 months is any more spectacular than anybody else's. We've just had to make a lot less mistakes, right? By the time we were coming in and hiring people, Mike and Mike have went through 4 or 5 different acquisition managers and told us what to avoid and how to be better at hiring and how to be better leaders. So to take all of that information and to inject it into your business, you know, it's been incredible to watch what everybody else is able to do, but also listen to how transparent everybody else is. And, you know, that's why I want to jump on the call today, even though, you know, we were just kind of real late to the party, because I knew everybody that was on this call was going to be talking. And I think I was probably the least qualified to be on this call because of the time frame in which it took us to get to where we were at. But what we've learned from everybody, and then to have such success in such short periods of time. I mean, you know, we were sitting there looking at the books today, and it's like, all right, so we'll do 750, 800 grand in 8 or 9 months. And then we get this phone call. Oh, hey, that deal, that closed. Come pick up your check tomorrow. And I'm like,
awesome, man.
Oh, wow, that just put us over $1 million. I should probably get on the 7-Figure Flipping call. right? So it's been a crazy ride, and outside of building the business and hiring the right people and watching our team grow and watching their success, it's been incredible to build the relationships that we have through this group, and we can't wait to see the people that are coming up behind us and where this group is going next.
So awesome. And Bill, so does that mean he's officially invited to the 8-figure group now?
I knew this was coming. I already called him. It's official.
So it's
You're
official?
invited.
All right. Yeah.
I told Bill a couple weeks ago that this was coming, but with these big deals, you got to wait until they close.
So we've had, I noticed in the chat box, someone was asking about what house flipping formula with a question mark. So in the House Flipping HQ community, we have a podcast, which is for free, and a website and blog and whatnot. But as a part of the community, we have a program called House Flipping Formula, which is for beginners, but it's also, it used to be for everyone. Because we do have some high level people in there as well, but it kind of goes through the steps and teaches you from the very beginning. And then a year later, we created a program called, a year or 2 years later, right? A year and a half later, after House Flipping Formula, we created a program called 7-Figure Flipping. So that's what you've heard a lot of people talk about. A lot of people in the 7-Figure Flipping program have come up through House Flipping Formula. Some of them were already qualified. You have to qualify for the 7-Figure program. So anyway, maybe I'll touch on that a little more as we go, but just filling in there as Steve, as you mentioned that. So Steve, did you mention your number one thing that has helped you be successful, reach the level of success you've had this year, or something you'd recommend for people listening?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to hear the overreaching theme, right? It's get somebody's blueprint and follow it. Like we said, we did this business for 5 years, and we both have real estate backgrounds. So I have a broker's license in a couple of states, and I was an REO broker listing deals for banks before I got into this business. So I think I had a pretty good handle on it even when I started. But I think last year we did maybe 17 deals. We did 12 last month. We'll do 15 or 16 next month. So, to watch that, the proof is in everybody else's work and success, right? So if you can implement one thing, of course, the mentorship, but I would say just be consistent in what you're doing. I think that we lacked consistency when we started our business. We would send, like I said, like 1,000 mailers, and then we'd pull off. So, and that takes capital, and we get that, but you got to figure that stuff out. And once we did, it was great. So, and then for next year's goals, we're looking to do between 2.5 and 3.1. It depends on some of these bigger hits that we have, because we do have another 65 lot subdivision that we're working on for the first quarter of next year. So that'll be, those capital moments that take place, they're not really what I count as part of the business, but because of the systems that we put in place, it allows us to go and hire the right people and spend those times on those things that we know we can do for those bigger capital injections. So they work hand in hand. I would never have been able to close this big deal or this next big subdivision that's coming without not having to work in my business 60 hours a week. I mean, right now, Trav and I are putting in, 15, 20 hours tops into our wholesale business, because our people are mostly autonomous and they're brilliant and they're killing it. So they, we attribute all of our success to picking the right people and having them work in our business.
That's awesome, man.
Can I say something here?
Yeah.
Sorry, I know it's not my turn, but I've recently talked to, over Thanksgiving, a friend of a family friend came, and also somebody is in my neighborhood. You guys don't know him, and we have a nice neighborhood, but both medical professionals, and both of them work their faces off. They work, and I asked them, one of them, because I wanted to take him boating, and I'm like, hey, what's your schedule like? And he works like 60 hours a week legit, and there's another person that works legit 70 hours a week, and they make a lot of money as far as most people are concerned, right? You're talking $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 people, and they have zero quality of life, zero. So the thing, it hit me like a ton of bricks then, like, and I guess it's because I'm spoiled, because I've done real estate for 15 years, not at those type of levels, but I realized, like, I'm blessed because I make money. That's awesome. But I'm even more blessed because the time I have. And you just said it right there, Stephen, like the time, the 15 hours, like, and it's not overnight. I'm not telling you guys sign up for a program and you get this overnight. No, but it's something you put into place and you can have it. Bill worked his face off for a year and he could get that. And Stephen, the same thing, but to be in a place where you can do that. People, the medical professionals, people, doctors, lawyers, they do that because they want to make a ton of money. What they don't realize is the handcuffs and the trap they're going to get. They won't be able to spend it or enjoy it. Right. So anyway, I just had to mention that.
Everyone write this down. ROTI. We always focus on ROI, return on money invested, focus on return on time invested. Invest your time into things and people that will give you that time back. Because if you do that, just like Andy said, it doesn't happen overnight. That's not what we're here teaching. That's not real. Unless you bought Bitcoin a long time ago. I'm just kidding.
You had to drop Bitcoin into this conversation.
People are talking about it all day. I actually had lunch with Russell Brunson, and he's like, "Oh, I wish I would have bought Bitcoin when you did." The only reason I was able to make a more risky investment like that, though, is because of this business and what I did, right? But anyway, that's another topic for another day. But focus on things that will give you back time. Like Andy's talking about these people that he knows. They're exchanging time for dollars. They're not creating a future for themselves. They're not creating something that a year or two from now they can sit back and say, wow, they can go on vacation and make as much or more money as they can if they were there working, right? That's what we teach here. You will not find that in anywhere else in this industry. Most real estate investors only learn how to be that one-man band like we were talking about. They get out there, they work their face off, and they work and work and work. And they can make a good income, but if they stop, then they die, and not literally, right? But and the problem with that is when you're in the trenches, you don't see what's going on above the trenches. You're in the trenches, and what happens is I see people go a year or two, they make decent money, they work their butts off, and then things have changed, but they haven't seen that because they don't have that bird's eye view. They don't have that view from the top, right? That's your job as a business owner, entrepreneur, and that's what we focus on in all of our programs. So thanks for adding that. So thank you so much, Steve. I actually had you go before Don, who is another one of our coaches, because I didn't know if you were going to be able to hang out or if you had a bell. I know you said you could hop on real quick. So yeah, you're welcome to stay as long as you can, but if you got to take off, thank you so much. Everyone give Steve a round of applause. Thank you, Steve.
Hey, Steven, before you go, I'm going to give you a call tomorrow. I got to borrow some money.
I knew that was coming.
Awesome, guys. So I first introduced Andy, Mike and Mike, Bill, and these guys are all coaches throughout the House Flipping HQ community and our different programs. And as the program continues to grow, and a lot of these guys, they do flips, but they mostly wholesale. We really needed, we had a need for an additional coach. I was talking to Bill, and the other coaches got together, and we thought, who's the one person? We want to bring on someone who's just a monster house flipper, who flips a ton of houses. Not only that, but he fits the culture, super giving, and just a great overall genuine person. And it was without a doubt, we all came to the same conclusion that Don Costa was the man for the job. So I've known Don. I forget time. I never know how long it's been. It's been less than a year, right? Yeah. That Danny Johnson first introduced us. And I was on your podcast, and at the time I wasn't really getting on a lot of podcasts just because I was busy, I had a lot going on. But Danny introduced us. I was like, I like Danny. I'm gonna do this, and I didn't realize what you had accomplished. I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy is flipping hundreds of houses. And as we got talking, it was pretty cool to hear. Sometimes you have a podcast as well, and sometimes you're talking to this animate object, right, and this metal object, and you're like, is anybody out there, right? So. It was pretty cool when we did that interview to hear you say that a lot of the things that you were applying, you had learned from me. And at first, like some other people mentioned, you didn't believe it. But anyway, without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Don Costa.
Mute.
Yeah, no, I'm just, this is an amazing community, and I'm humbled and honored to be a part of it. I always say that. And, I started in 2003, back when Carlton Sheets was a thing. I don't think wholesaling was really a big thing then. I started as a rehabber, and I just did it. I did it all wrong. I made a lot of money, I even had a $120,000 wholesale deal, by the way. Now I'm beat, obviously, with the $250,000 wholesale deal, but I made a lot of money, but I just didn't do it right. It was like the wild, wild west. And when the economy hit, I lost everything. And we told the story a lot. I couldn't buy Taco Bell. I was buying gas with quarters. I was going to the grocery store with, a calculator. I was playing the Russian roulette with my utilities and water, and it was just tough times. And I think I was terrified of getting back into real estate, but I had to look in the mirror at one point and decide what I was good at, what I really was good at. And I was good at identifying deals and putting private money together. So I ended up in 2012 getting back into the real estate game. And I was determined to run it like a business this time. It was about that time, roughly 2013, I ran into your podcast, Justin. And like everybody said here, you're talking about flipping 100+ deals a year. You're not seeing the houses. And I was like, that's not happening. I got 5 going on right now. I'm pulling my hair out. This sucks. I'm not even enjoying it. There's no way. And, but then I kind of stopped and I thought, and I was like, well, this guy's saying he can do it. Then it can probably be done. And I just got to figure out how to make that happen.
Yes.
And, just started putting some of the things I was hearing and learning into play and into action in my business. And sometimes you talk about something on your podcast and I wouldn't be able to find it, anywhere. So I would make one, whatever it was, I would make up that system. And it started to come together till one day I looked up and I wasn't even seeing the properties. I had an investor asking me questions about the cross street or what we were going to be doing. And I wasn't able to answer those questions because, I wasn't the guy that was looking at the properties. And that was my aha moment that it can be done. And it's people, it's processes, it's having the right practices in place that makes that happen for you. And honestly, listening to the podcast, being around the right people, setting the right goals helps you accomplish those things. And, Danny introduced us. You had mentioned 7-figure to me. And I was at that crossroads where I didn't want to be the only guy, basically I'm in my hole in my office and just doing my thing. And I realized that my mistake last time around was not being surrounded by the right people, not being surrounded by the people who maybe would have saw something coming before I saw it coming. And it just made sense to join the group. And it's such an amazing group of smart people and genuine people. And I've gotten a lot out of it. And it's just been a great community and a lot of fun to be a part of.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, definitely.
So you're on track to do 100, how many flips this year?
If everything closes by the end of this year, we'll hit just shy of the 120 mark.
It's awesome, man. Yeah. So cool. And around $2 million?
Yeah. We'll cross the $2 million mark.
Woo!
Yeah.
So dang cool, man. Love it, man. So awesome. So what's your number one thing that you feel like has helped you become successful?
Knowing my value, right? I think the first time around I was, like I said, I was haphazard and I was going crazy and I didn't really stop to kind of own my value and what I wanted to create, right, as a business. And coming into it, I had been annihilated and kind of lost. I was insecure. And so taking that time to really know the value that I brought to the table and owning it and knowing that I could build a successful company and taking action on that, I think is a huge component to my success. And I encourage everybody in any situation they walk into to really own the value they bring to the table. A lot of people, especially newer people, and even some of us have been doing it for a while, we start to doubt a little bit. And it's important not to do that, to just own what you bring to the table and know that you bring tremendous value and you're worthy of success. Absolutely.
Awesome. I love that. Oh, so cool. All right. If you have any other comments, hop in here, but I know we're kind of getting short on time, so I'm going to move this, keep this going along. But ladies and gentlemen, give Don Costa a round of applause. Oh, and thank you so much, man. What you have added to this community so far, and I know you're just getting started, is incredible. The systems, and it's just so awesome. So thank you so much. All right, guys, this next individual 1 year ago didn't really have a business to speak of. It could be one of two people. See who it is now. He was actually working for another wholesaler. He was working for another real estate investor, and he wanted to go out on his own. And he has absolutely killed it. I think he's on track to do over 100 deals this year. And it's amazing. Literally didn't have a business to speak of 1 year ago, and now is on track to do over 100 deals. The crazy thing, well, you know what's funny, guys? You see a lot of the gurus out there, they'll post a check that someone got or whatever. Our students send me their P&Ls, right? Like checks. I mean, do people even get checks anymore, right? It's like, what kind of world are we in, right? They send me their P&Ls of when they hit $1 million, you know, and recently I got one of those from Jeremiah, and I was so excited, so pumped for him, man. I mean, literally a year ago, decides he's going to go out and make this business happen. Absolutely kills it in a new market that he was not in before. And true inspiration. This guy's been through a lot of trials just like all of us, and just an inspiration to me. Killed it on the 6-figure call last night, dropping the gold bomb, sharing a ton of value. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the one and only Jeremiah Johnson. Oh, I love JJ. You're muted, so unmute it.
JJ, you're my hero.
How's that? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so I have been in real estate now for 4 years, but owned Friendly Home Buyer now for a year, and we really have been in business for 12 months this month, which is pretty awesome. We are on track. We're going to do about 110 deals. I was thinking 110 to 120, but with terminations, 110, and it's still awesome. Breakdown, we've done like 20 owner carries that we've actually sold on seller finance. 24 flips and 66 wholesales is where we're at right now.
Crazy, man.
It's pretty exciting. But as far as what the groups meant for me and how I got started, you know, when I had an accident, I really pretty much destroyed my left leg, and I had a lot of time on the couch, and I did a lot of studying. I started listening to podcasts, and podcasts, there's a lot of free information out there, and Justin's yours is great. And I listened to it quite extensively, and I listened to several others, and I just really got ingrained, and I kind of made a commitment that I was going to get into real estate. But I'd been in medical device sales. I didn't really know much about it, and so I started going to classes, anything that was offered for free through our local RIA, and I went to a weekend seminar by a hard money lender, and a guy, one of the things that stuck out to me is when Mike said he offered to work for free. I was willing to do that just to learn, to be a mentee, you know, to learn from somebody that knew what they were doing. And when I was in this meeting, you know, the folks that hired me in Denver were on the panel of experts. And at the end of the day, they're like, we're hired, you know, so if you're interested, text us and let us know that you're interested. And so I did, and I ended up getting a job in acquisition, which was great experience. I did that for about 3 years and left. And so I've started a business in an out-of-state market because I have a non-compete. I can't work in my home state, but it's actually, you know, things happen for a reason. And I think had I done everything in Denver, I would have done everything. And being that I was forced to go out of state, it really, I think it fast-tracked myself or our business and being able to really take or entrust other people to do important jobs, you know, that I thought I needed to do everything. And I couldn't, because I was 8 hours away, you know, 2 weeks out of the month. And so it was really, really a great thing all the way around. But education and then getting into the group instilled that, you know, all these other folks that you listen to the podcast. I told you when I first met you that it was almost like celebrity status, like, oh my gosh. But you're there, everybody, we're all people. And if I don't want to say if you can do it, I can do it, but it really makes it, you know, identifiable, and there's a proven path to success. And if you implement it, you know, you'll get there. And so that's what belief, you know, is a big thing that I've gotten from the group. And also when you're experiencing the trials and tribulations of starting up, and it can be quite overwhelming to have, you know, 25, 50 people that you can call and here's what's happening right now. And you've got a sounding board, a board of directors. It's irreplaceable, you know, because especially if you're a sole business owner and having that board of directors is it's pretty awesome. But, you know, to be a little more granular on the one thing, and grab a blueprint from somebody. But if you're going to start marketing, or what we did, I think that really helped us be successful is I designed our marketing plan and I set it and I got out of the way, because if you don't have a steady flow of leads or, people coming in and a steady flow of offers going out, you don't have deals to decision and make offers to, you're not going to get anywhere. And that was one of the things that we did really right out of the gate is we opened up all of our marketing channels pretty full throttle. And it was scary because it was expensive, but it really catapulted us to almost, immediately month 2, having a good pipeline and hitting the ground running. So I think that was one of the big things for our success is getting the belief from the group, but then actually implementing that marketing program and sticking with it. Because if you don't, like, okay, I'm going to do marketing next Monday, it's really easy to put it off, let it slip through. Then it's Wednesday and you haven't done it that week. And then the following week. So if you set it and forget it and just get out of the way, creating that consistent deal flow is a big thing.
I love that. That's huge. Once again, people all the time, I can't find any deals in this market. It's like, no, like you create the processes that bring deals to you. There's only 3 things in every business: lead generation, lead conversion, and fulfillment, or in our business, increasing the average profit per deal, right? And if you can create the systems for those 3 things, you'll get all the deals you want. I remember Bill talking about like it being like a conveyor belt. And it seems like you're experiencing that conveyor belt where the deals just come in because you said it, you forget it, like you said, and you create that process that brings the deals in, brings the deal flow in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Awesome. So cool, man. Awesome. So is that so what's your, that's your one thing. Never mind. You shared your one thing.
I would say a big one.
Yeah. No, it's so cool, man. It's been amazing to see what you've done. You're an inspiration to all of us. I'm used to like talking to everyone for a little bit longer, so I'm trying to stay on track, but thank you so much, Jeremiah, for everything you've done, and the help that you've given to the group. And we love you, man. So
thank you.
Round of applause for Jeremiah.
Next year the goal is 2.5.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
We just hired 2 new acquisition people and another lead manager. So now we've got 2 lead managers, transaction operation, and then 3 acquisition. And next hire will be disposition. So.
Oh man, that is so awesome. It just blows me away to think about when the group started, and I literally know what everyone is doing, how much they're making, where they're at, and to see the bar just keep getting raised, right? Which is why we had to create another program, the 8-figure program. It's just, it's mind blowing. I'm just getting chills being on this call. It's anyway, it's pretty awesome.
2.5 is the high. 2.1 is.
It's all right, man. If you hit 2.1, we're not gonna be
stoked.
Hey,
we're
Justin,
not gonna be super disappointed.
Justin, what's the prize for first people to get to 8 figures?
Mike Simmons is going to
a trip to space.
Yeah, I was gonna say Saturn. Like, I don't know where we're going to do past.
We're all man. We're all the 8-figure members already going to Costa Rica, man. There we go.
And you're making it tough.
All right, so this next individual came to Flip Hacking Live last year. I believe she heard me speak a few years ago at an investment club, and she joined the 6-figure group. I remember Mike and Mike talking about her and Dan and how awesome they were. And I remember going to the first 6-figure event last year in Farmington at Andy's place, and I didn't realize who they were. And I remember Mike and Mike talked about them, but they were just so chill, so non-assuming, right? They didn't, it wasn't like they weren't flashy or anything. And I didn't think they were like super successful people. And as I got dug in, went to lunch with them a couple times, I'm like, holy cow, these guys are going to make $1 million this year. And as I've gotten to know them better, these guys are just absolutely amazing rock stars. They're house flipping maniacs. I think they're on track to do, I'll let you say what it is, Laurel. But ladies and gentlemen, I give you Laurel Sagan. Yeah. Woo!
Hi. Justin did talk at our local RIA a few years ago. He was talking about systemizing, and my business partner is way more analytical. I'm more, hands-on, folksy. And so he was really impressed by Justin. I was like, he's okay.
I love it.
So, but we're high-end flippers in Sacramento, California, and we've been doing this for a while. I got wiped out in the downturn like on Costa. I had to move in with my mother-in-law, and it was pretty bad. And I just didn't want to do that again. So Dan and I were slowly building a great business. That was after we lost like $250,000 on our first 2 flips. And so we were doing a lot of flips, and to date we've done like 300 flips. But mostly we're doing high-end flips, but doing high-end flips where I'm a general contractor, I'm doing all the work. I'm 58 years old. This is a lot of freaking work. So Dan says, we got it last year. We got to go to see this guy in San Diego. I said, sure. Cause we always do at least one educational big event a year. Sure. Yeah. Book me. I'll go. But man, the whole idea of, I talk a lot in the local RIAs here, and I'm always hounding on people. You got to have your goals. You got to run this like a business, for God's sake. Well, you know what? I was not running our business like a business. Okay. We were doing what felt good to us, and, every detail and like that. So we went into 6-figure flipping because we didn't really think we belonged in 7-figure flipping. And I'm really glad we did, because we were able to really, Andy and Mike were our coaches. They took apart every little thing. And I got to tell you, that for me is the biggest thing that we learned, is you can learn from other people. It's all about mindset, right? I'm still struggling with the mindset. Like, I still get in the middle of some of our deals, and that's what I finally hired a project manager, so I'm not going to the job site every day on our high-end flips. But even just implementing the stuff that we've done, we made a lot of mistakes in hiring. We had to fire and start over. This year, we're still going to do over $1.5 million. And, we did like 500,000 in wholesale deals, without any staff. So now it's just like really getting in the mindset. What are we going to do? We're going to go for $3 million this year. And we're going to do $1 million in wholesale deals, $2 million in our high-end flip business. That's kind of what we're going to do. But the thing is, it's even now I struggle with the whole mindset thing. So far we've done like 5 properties that I haven't seen. Right.
Nice.
So next year, my whole idea is I want to do 100 properties that I never see.
Awesome.
Because that's mindset, right?
Yes.
Even with the project manager, I was there. I've been there every day this week, just for 10 minutes though, right?
Yeah.
It's all about mindset. I really see that really what's next for us is to be working on our business, not in our business.
Yes.
Dan's calling me on, Laurel, you're working too hard. I had a little health scare. So he's like, you gotta stop working so hard, right? And I see that, really, even today, after all the success being in a 7-figure, if we're going to get to an 8-figure thing, we definitely got to keep with changing our mindset. And that's what I just got to tell everybody. Don't live in your own, what you think is possible. You got to get somebody who's ahead of you that you can just grasp into and learn. What is it? How do they think? What are they, not just what are they doing, but how do they think? What is possible for me? If those of you who know me know, I'm a middle-aged white girl, weighs, way too much and is too, not pretty or anything, but if I can do it, I'm not really smart. I just work hard. If I can start it and all I did was really live in somebody else's mindset, for me, it's learning from someone else how they think. It's the most basic thing. And however you can do that and learning to you can pull yourself up by somebody else by learning their mindset. That's the thing I want to say. So, and yeah, we're going to do 3 million this year. So,
So awesome, man. And you are giving me chills, and I just want to say you're amazing, and your genuineness shines through, and you are beautiful. So don't
but what I meant, I'm not like somebody who people would think be great in business. So that's all.
It's awesome. Thank you so much. So cool. I'm so excited to see what you guys have done. And I want to be clear, like, just so everyone knows, like, you guys just started wholesaling this year, which is incredible. And you guys were flipping a ton. So give yourself credit. You're still looking at some of your houses.
We were
flipping
like 7 or 8. Yeah, now we're gonna do 15. Yeah,
so amazing, so amazing. So everyone, give Laurel a round of applause. And mindset, just for the record, like what she's saying, like we all struggle with mindset. I don't care what level you are. We all have that glass ceiling. We got to break through it. I did a podcast not too long ago where I talked about identity, and I even have these identity shifts from time to time. I'm like, think that this is the reality. This is where I need to be. And then you have an identity shift and you realize, oh my gosh, like I am having limiting beliefs. How can I push past that? And it's not just financially, it's in all aspects of life. So congratulations. Like we are only limited by what we believe in here. So powerful. Thank you so much. Awesome. Just reading some of these comments here. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, this is incredible. So we got to keep moving here, guys. This is awesome. I could talk to all you for about at least anyway. I was gonna say about an hour, but I could go on for days. These next people, I had no idea. Like they joined Seven Figure. I want to say like a few months ago, but it's probably longer than that. I always forget. Not too long ago they joined Seven Figure, and I'll be honest. When they joined, I was like, I don't know that they're totally ready because I wasn't aware of how much success they were having. And then at Flip Hacking Live just last month. We were just talking. They came. They shared with me where they were, and I was just blown away. So impressed. They're not super like outspoken and loud and crazy like me or Mike Simmons, but just super proud of them. It's so incredible, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm even more inspired by hearing their story and what this has done for them and their family. But I give you Ariana and Chris Lemire. Here, oh, you guys are muted. Yeah.
Hey guys. Yes, we are not very outspoken. I'm so sorry.
This is gonna be very awkward.
The energy's gonna.
Chris does like hugging, though. I can attest to that.
Don't do it.
Right. So I guess we're starting how we.
There's a little story.
Started in real estate. So. We graduated college, got our W-2 jobs, you know, what everybody tells you to do in life. And we were like, oh, we're set. I have this great career. So I was in the medical profession. He's still in software development. I was born in the Philippines, moved to New Zealand, and then married him from Florida. So now we live in Florida.
All my fault.
Yes, all his fault. And then we realized that, you know, now that we have jobs, we're stable. Okay, what's the future? Eventually we want to have a family. My family still live in the Philippines and New Zealand. His family lives here. So we couldn't really like visit family. Like our jobs were really time intensive, well, mine even more, that I couldn't take really any time off the job. We were making decent money, but to not even have like a week off to go, you know,
for literally no PTO.
For like a 24-hour flight one way and back. It was, so I was like, well,
trapped.
We were kind of trapped. We were like, we built these great lives, but then we're just trapped. Like, this isn't what we thought it would be. So we just started looking for a way out. So we started looking at, okay, how much money do we need to save every year, every month, so that eventually we can invest it, I don't know, in the stock market at 5%, so we could retire earlier and have a family. And that was a long time. So we looked at other avenues, and real estate came up because his dad invested in real estate. While he was growing up, they were doing like live-in flips. But anyway, we did that. I think we like bought a couple of rentals. We met Bill. He lived in Pensacola and we lived in Fort Walton Beach. So that's how we were exposed to this community. And at that time, you know, I think we flipped like 2-3 houses last year.
Yeah.
We bought our very first rental in December of 2015. So we've been doing this maybe 2 years. But like we met Bill before
he was Bill Allen. We met him
before. Apparently he's a Wonder Boy now. And
before he was Wonder Boy.
Just seeing how like it was amazing. Just seeing the transformation, because like we would I think in the beginning of last year we were still going to like monthly meetups with him, and we would just see his business skyrocket, and we were like, what's he doing? How are you doing all this? And he invited us to Flip Hacking Live last year. And when we went, Justin and Andy and everybody just talked about like giving us permission on, we can do more. We, like at that time, I think we were like, okay, we'll flip like 2 to 3 houses a year and we'll make what we make now in our jobs.
That was a big goal. Like we were like, okay, that's what we're going to do.
And that's it. Right. But like just now, and we're probably the most unqualified people in this panel. But we're doing 50 deals this year.
That's awesome.
Like you're like apologizing about that.
It's funny. Like, I mean, there are a lot of people in the community that are doing more than you guys. But my goal was not to bring on everyone who is doing I wanted to bring. It's interesting. Like I wanted to bring on people that people could relate. And you guys doing 50 deals and a high 6 figures. It's like, but no, it's anyway. I'll let you guys keep going, but it's all right. Keep going.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was mind blowing. Like from last year to like where we are this year, it is mind blowing, and it's just really from like the people we've come to know, and we don't talk a lot, but we listen a lot, and just like seeing and doing what you guys, trying to implement what we hear from you guys is how we got here, really. So thank you to pretty much everybody on this call and some who aren't here. But, yeah.
That's awesome. No, thank you guys.
I mean, it's kind of the same as our one thing, really. Like when it's really the people we surrounded ourselves with gave us the ability to do this, right? So we met Justin and Andy, and they sort of gave us permission to do better, and they showed us like the potential, like what was possible. We met Bill, and he proved that we could do it, and we had someone to chase now. Like Bill did it in this amount of time, we can chase Bill down. We joined Six Figure, and Mike showed us more like nuts and bolts, and like here's a template, here's how you get started, take it and make it yours. And like the whole chain together. And not only do we have people to chase now, we had other people who were sort of in the same spot running with us. And like we get punched in the face, they get punched in the face, we all laugh about it and get back up and go again. The group has given us a lot of confidence,
I guess, camaraderie.
Yeah, I don't know the word. It's
both, probably, right?
Yeah, someone to struggle with, but we're all moving in the same direction. We're all getting better. Like, I don't know.
That's awesome. That's so cool. What has this business done for your family?
Right. So like this June and July, we were able to go to the Philippines to just be with family. We were actually able to help with some of the expenses and the flights because they were flying from New Zealand and all that. And we're working on in like the future being like more together as a family so we can actually allocate funds towards that. And like last year, I'm very good at not spending money. I tell Chris all the time, like about 10 years ago, I was walking 45 minutes to save 10 cents because I live in the Philippines, so like wow. Exchange rate, right? And now we can, just being able to just fly somewhere is amazing. So
I have gotten chills like 20 times on this call. I don't know. I might not to like go off script too much, but guys, like we live in the most amazing country with so many opportunities. Like to hear what Ariana had she would walk to save 10 cents, right? Like we have so much opportunity. Like don't forget that, right? Like have that mindset, have that edge. Because I believe sometimes someone does come from another country and they recognize that, right? Sometimes more than we do. And I think it gives them that edge. And if we can have that mindset, it can change everything. So that's super inspiring. You guys are really awesome, really inspiring.
Goals. So this year we're going to be just shy of 1 million, like in the 900s. Next year, we kind of thinking like game mode. So we've got easy mode and hard mode. Easy mode, we're shooting for 1.5 and hard mode, we're shooting for 2 million next year.
So awesome. I love that you said easy because the thing is like we talked about, like this business isn't easy, but if you do ROTI, focus on return on time invested and build something, it's like now you guys are calling that easy, and I say all the time, like it's harder to flip 10 houses than it is to flip your first house. I mean, it's harder to flip your first house than it is the next 10. And it's harder to flip your first 10 than it is your next 100. Because once you create the systems and once you get out of the way, because we are all the bottleneck in our business, once we get out of the way, that's when our business can really explode. Because one person can only do so much. But collectively, if you create a system and a machine, you can build it as big as you want. So super awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Before we clap them out, I just want to say to them, so I know Ariane and Chris well, and I'm honored to be a part of the story. And I think it's so cool because what I see on this panel is like, Justin and Andy gave me permission, and then Mike and Mike were doing it, and I was able to do it. And then you saw what I was doing, and we all lifted each other up. And then you guys are, I mean, we're basically in the same market doing millions of dollars right next to each other.
One city across.
In the same group. It's like, just to see that, and it's incredible. When I heard what you guys are going to be doing and what you're doing next year and what I want to do next year, I'm like, how can we milk that much out of this city? And we're not the only people doing it, you know? And you guys are doing 50 deals, and you go to the RIA meetings and you are doing the most there. Like, when you guys think about that, and being in a group like this where you're almost embarrassed to do 50 deals, it's just shocking to think like that. And that's kind of the group and the mentality that we've all built this up, because the first meeting that I went to, like, Andy was the only one doing stuff like that. And now we're shooting for 3 times that now. It's just crazy to see the trajectory and the explosion of what everyone's done and be able to raise everybody else up together. And just to be like a tiny part of that and being named once or twice, I'm like so honored for that. And everyone on this call should be, because you've all been a part of my story, and just me being a small part of your story. Like, we're all living in this together. It's really cool.
Yeah. I want to say too, it just kind of proves the theory that you are the sum of the people you hang around, the 5 people, whatever. Like, this is our group, right? This is who we hang around. And all we're doing is lifting each other up. Each person is pulling or pushing or chasing, and we're all collectively going up. So it's just amazing what you can do when you surround yourself with the right people. I mean, when I started in real estate, I had never even heard of anybody who did 50 deals. I'd never heard of it, let alone been able to like talk to them, right? Now we have somebody, like, we're kind of joking about, like, they're almost like shy, like, we're only doing 50. Like, I had never even heard of that. Like, that was unattainable in my opinion, right? So now it's just amazing. So you surround yourself with the right people, and you get the results that kind of everyone is getting, right? You raise yourself up into that group. So it's amazing.
That's awesome. All right, guys, let's give Ariane and Chris a round of applause. You guys are awesome. Thank you. It's so awesome having you in the community. I apologize. I haven't been able to comment and all the side comments. Thank you guys for your comments. I know a lot of the people on the call are jumping in and answering questions and communicating back and forth. From Brett, he says, Andrea and I are watching all of you guys talking, and we were reminded immediately just how necessary this is and how grateful we are for having the opportunity to be surrounded by the enormous amount of positivity. Thank you all. And it's so crazy. Like, I don't know if you guys have heard of the Hive effect, but Mike Simmons kind of mentioned that. Like, you are the sum of the people that you hang around with. The Hive effect, like, you naturally, like, we go to these events and we're around these people and we leave, and literally, like, it's all the things you take away, but you are a different person. Like, you change. Like, we are like plastic, like we change, right? And it's so powerful to leave and you're a different person. You grow and you just you blow up even more. It's just inspiring.
And that Hive effect works in the opposite way too, right, Justin? If you hang around the wrong people, they'll bring you down, right?
Absolutely. Be
so
very careful.
You have to upgrade the people that you hang around with if you want to upgrade your, what you expect out of yourself and what you achieve.
Yeah, awesome. So moving right along, guys. This next individual is Steve here by chance, or okay, no worries. So this next individual, him and his partner. I mean, literally. We heard Jeremiah, who didn't have a business. These guys hadn't done a deal, not for themselves, not for anyone. Of 1 year ago, they came to Flip Hacking Live, hadn't done a single deal. I didn't even realize this until more recently. I was like, oh wait, you didn't do you haven't done any deals? And this year they're on track to do 7 figures. They've absolutely blown up their business. another reason why, you know, I wanted to bring on, I brought up some people who've been in the business a long time, done X amount of deals. Like I wanted to bring on a couple people who 1 year ago were where maybe some of you guys are, right? We're all in different places, and what can be accomplished literally within a year. So what you can do next year in 2018 is exactly what Dave and Steve have done this year. So ladies and gentlemen, I give you the one and only Dave Beffert.
Thank you. Yeah, so Steven called me like an hour before this started and said, hey, he's in Minnesota right now. He said, hey, my brother's got some tickets to the Minnesota Wild game tonight. Do you think it'd be cool if I went? I was like, yeah, man, go. Like, you know, that's the good thing about a partnership is, hey, if one person has to do something, the other one can
I was going to joke about, no, he's never forgiven. He's done. But I was like, yeah, I guess that's why we do this business, right? So we can do stuff like
exactly. So, yep. So I am in the Minneapolis market, and I've got my wife, 3 boys upstairs watching a hockey movie right now, I think. But we lived here for about 3 years. I started in the military, kind of the same story as Bill. I was an active duty Air Force pilot for 11 years.
Thank you as well for your service.
Well, I had fun doing it. And I got out, joined corporate America because I wanted more control over my life, and that's where I was going to make big bucks. So I got out, got a really nice 6-figure job, push, office, working 8 to 5 every day, and came home just miserable. So I'm sure there's tons of people that can relate. So I did that for about a year before I realized I had to figure something else out. So we started brainstorming ideas. I started listening to podcasts and found your 8-Minute Millionaire and then your House Flipping Formula or House Flipping HQ podcast.
There's a lot of house flippings out there.
A lot of them. So, and then my wife and I signed up for House Flipping Formula about 2 years ago at this time, and just to start our journey. So we spent about 5 months just digging in, getting educated, looking for deals, and finally just jumped on a deal. It turned out it was not a great deal. I look back on it now and I say, oh man, those numbers are awful. I wouldn't even give it a second look right now. But at the time we were just like, hey, we're so tired of just talking about it and listening to other people do it. Let's just do it. Let's try not to lose money on this, but let's just go out and do it. So we did it. And it took about 9 months to close on that one, almost to the day. Real simple, 3-week rehab, and the contractor fired one contractor, got another one, took him forever to finish. And then we listed it right before Thanksgiving. So you know what that's like. Anyway, it didn't deter us. And my wife was still backing me 100%. In fact, she was the one pushing me out of the corporate job, trying to get me to just go full time into this. I still wasn't ready. I went to Flip Hacking Live in 2016. I've still got the book here. And at Flip Hacking Live, that's really where things changed for me, because that's where I met Steven, my business partner. He lives in California. Actually, he's moving to Denver next week. So he's a single guy, kind of doing the single guy thing, kind of picking up and moving wherever he wants, whenever he wants. But we have a really equitable split between the workload of the business. I'm the boots on the ground here, but there's a lot of, it really is an equitable split on what we do for the business. So, but I met Steven there. I joined the 6-figure flipping program while I was there, and immediately hired, I opened this up, Bill, and you were the first presentation given at Flip Hacking Live in 2016 on October 6, 2016. And I looked through this and I did exactly what Bill said right here is step 1, get a leads manager. So Steven actually became my leads manager. So he was just working for me because he wanted to get kind of that, he wanted to get all the information from six figure flipping. And that was a way for him to do that by working for me on a commission only basis. So he answered the phone for me. Pretty soon thereafter, I hired an acquisitions manager. And then right about that time, Steven and I decided just to go partner up 50-50 in Minneapolis. Steven actually already he's got the same kind of partnership in North Carolina with Mike Foley. So now we got North Carolina and Minneapolis market. I'm really in Minneapolis. He's in both. But we're building the same business in both places. That one's more flipping. This one's more wholesaling, but we're actually ramping up the flipping right now. So we started working together. About 6 weeks after that, I quit my job and went full-time into this back in March. And I think we closed our first deal at the very end of March. So about 2 weeks after I quit my job. So, and then just kind of been off to the races since then. But I literally look back, and this group, being a part of this group, I look at this and I say, you know, Bill Allen said, hire a leads manager, did it. Hire an acquisition manager, did it. Hire a transaction coordinator. Well, we did that, really a dispositions and transaction coordinator. And that's really our team. So what I had to realize was, in order for me to grow my business, I had to get out of my own way. Like you already alluded to, I think we talk about hiring, and I would say my one biggest tip for people growing their business and growing it quickly is to hire. And I think that sounds really obvious to a lot of people in this group. But a year ago, that was not obvious at all to me. And where I started hiring was, I think there's two ways you could do it. Hire where you're not good, or maybe what you're best at, hire that last. Well, in my case, it was hire where the bottleneck was. And the bottleneck was acquisitions manager, because I didn't have time to go on all the appointments because I had a full-time job. So hire an acquisitions manager. And then from there, it was like, wow, let's just up the marketing, because I don't care how many phone calls or appointments we get, because somebody else is going to do it. I don't have to do it. And that's where it really started to take off. So I just had to get out of my own way. And then, you know, Steven and I joining up definitely just accelerated that. And we both bring different things to the table. But that's really my one big tip. But as far as being a part of the group, while I was, you know, just listening to everybody else talk about their story, is really, I realized there's two things that this group brings to us that I can't speak to it, but you probably don't get in any other group. I think anybody can teach you how to flip a house. Like you could learn how to flip a house on YouTube, but what this group does is teach you how to build a business. So from day one, we're building a business, not just creating a job for ourselves. Right. So we've got, I mean, I can't think of another group that would have gotten us to the point where we started our business in February. By May, we went to an event out in Detroit with Mike and Mike, and we were there for half a week while the business was still running. Well, back in October, we were gone for almost a full week in San Diego, and I hardly talked on the phone at all, and our business was still moving. So the fact of putting the right people in place, hiring for those areas that to pull ourselves out of the day-to-day so we could really focus on the business was key. So, you know, we learned how to build a business here. And now I talk to people in other businesses and business ventures, like these two girls I met who have a house cleaning business. Well, I started asking them questions like, well, do you have any employees? No. Why not? You know, if you had more employees, you could get more contracts, right? And make more money. You don't have to do all the work yourself. And it's just so obvious to me now. Yeah. But it wasn't 1 year ago or 2 years ago before I started getting educated from the group. That would never really have occurred to me. I would say the second biggest thing, and it's been said here already, is the mindset that you can do so much more than you really think you can. So I think, I mean, that's been hit on multiple times over the last hour and a half, but you can do so much more. And just hearing everybody else's stories, I'm like, there's so much more I could be doing. I just got to do it. So it's been great. And, you know, I'm digging the new life. It's definitely a lot better. My kids don't have school tomorrow, so I'm going to be playing Mr. Dad, you know, Mr. Mom around here. And, you know, business is going to go on just like normal.
So cool, man.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. All right, guys, give Dave a round of applause. Thank you so much, guys. I could go on and on with you guys. We've already gone over time. Thank you, everyone, for being on tonight. I do want to take 1 minute. We have a lot of people that are on this call. We've had I know we're on Facebook. I think we have, like, you know, hundreds of people that are listening to this live. And then I know thousands or tens of thousands are going to watch this replay, because we've had a lot of people reach out and have asked about the programs. And over the years, as the group has grown, we've created more programs to fit people's needs, because it's not a one size fits all. right? Someone who's learning the very basics, how to comp properties and the basics that are involved in real estate is not the same as the people who you're hearing here who are on the 7-figure. A lot of these people have been through these different programs, but we've created different programs for the level where you are at. And we've had a lot of people reach out and ask about the programs. And it's so hard for me or for Kyle or for someone to just say, oh, this is what the program is. Like, I wanted to bring you guys on so you could see here, so you could feel it, right? And thank you guys for helping us do that. So really quickly, I just want to make sure everyone understands there are 4, how many programs, Bill? 4 programs? Okay. So we have House Flipping Formula, which is essentially for beginners, to people who don't know anything about real estate at all, to people who are somewhat beginners-ish, maybe have done a deal or two. Then we have 6-figure flipping, which is House Flipping Formula. We absolutely give you the farm. We give you everything. We don't hold anything back. It's not like, oh, and behind curtain number, when you go up to here, we're going to give you the real secrets. No, we don't hold back. However, as you get to the higher level programs, you're with higher level people, which is huge. And I say higher level, I don't mean, it's not like, it's just people who are more further along in their business, who are making more money, right? So those are the people you're around. And then it's also little more personalized. You get a little more personal contact. You get more calls. You get more things. So that's 6-figure flipping. And then the next program is called 7-figure flipping. A lot of the people here are in the 7-figure flipping group. That is by qualification only. You have to be making at least 6 figures currently in a house flipping or wholesaling business. So you've got to qualify. The other 2, you don't necessarily need to qualify for. You just got to be cool. I mean, when I say cool, I don't mean like awesome. I mean, like, we just want neat people in this community. We want people who aren't looking for a get-rich-quick thing, people who are willing to put in the work, who aren't going to complain, who are going to give, who have an abundant mindset. If you fit that mold, you can qualify for the first or second. The 6-figure flipping and house flipping formula program, some of the same people can qualify. If you have no experience, please start with house flipping formula. Number 1, I don't like to take people's money unless I know I can give them a 10, 20, 30% ROI on that investment. I see it as an investment, not a cost. So please start with house flipping formula. If you have a little experience and done a few deals and you have a little more money you can spend, money buys speed. These coaches, like they're high level coaches. So if you have a little more you can invest, then 6-figure flipping will get you to where you need to go even all that much faster. You get more live events, more one-on-ones. Then the 7-figure group, if you make 6 figures or more, the 7-figure group is designed to get you to 7 figures. That's the whole goal of the group, to take 6-figure flippers and wholesalers and get them to that 7-figure mark. Like we mentioned, there's over 20 people who the group only started 2 years ago. And this year there will be 23, 24 people. It's out more and more every week. I'm hearing about more people who will hit that mark. And next year we have several people that are going to hit multiple 7 figures. So recently, because we had so many people hitting that 7-figure mark, it's like now we have people coming in the group. Some are making, a couple $100,000, but then you have some that are making a couple million. And there's a gap there. And we've had it, like Bill said, you don't want to be the smartest person in the room. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I remember last year someone was joking when Mike and Mike started like chasing Andy, even though Andy kept going, so they couldn't catch him quite, exactly. Someone joked about 8-figure group. And it was kind of a joke. It's like, like there's going to be an 8-figure group. But as you guys are hearing, a lot of people's goals next year are in the multiple millions. And so we decided to start an 8-figure group for that reason. The 7-figure group and the 8-figure group are going to be like sister companies. A lot of people from the 8-figure group are going to help coach the 7-figure group. So they're going to still be very interactive. A lot of the meetings, a lot of the 8-figure members will be going to the 7-figure meetings. So anyway, bottom line, if you guys are interested in one of these programs, you can go to houseflippinghq.com/coaching to apply. And someone from our team will be in contact with you we just want to make sure we bring in the right people. It's got to be a right fit, and they'll help you know which program is best for you based on your application. If you are watching the replay of this call, then there will be a link below, right, Kyle? You can jump in and let me know if I'm missing anything. There will be a link below for you to click on to apply. So here's the deal. There's a lot of people out there who are scamsters, right? There's a lot of bad dudes in this business. And the reason why is because you can make so much money in this business. So for that reason, you have a lot of the shady guys who have either never done the business or they literally are just professional slick sales guys, right? And they literally get people's money, take people who don't have any experience in the business, charge them ridiculous amounts of money, and then send them to a call center to learn from college students out of a textbook. Like it's just ridiculous. So our goal, our mission is to put those guys out of business. So we're trying to reach more people, put those guys out of business. I've heard too many bad things going on. So that's our mission. Bill, Andy, do any of you guys have like final comments? I know we got to wrap up here pretty soon, but.
Yeah, I just want to jump in real quick. There's something you said that you kind of glossed over it. That is when I talk to people, it's nothing that I've seen in any other coaching program. It's an application process to qualify for a program. We are turning people away from the program because we don't think they're the right fit for the program. They want to write us a check for that program, but we're saying no because we don't think it's right for them. Let us put you in the right fit. And frankly, I don't think anyone else out there is doing that. If you want to give them your money, they will take it. That's what I really love about this organization, and what keeps me here and drives me to help so much is the way that Justin has gone about setting up this group. It's the people in the room everyone's adding to the value there, and really turning away money it's not typical in the real estate coaching world that I know. So that to me is incredible when I tell people that. I was just on a call yesterday and somebody said, "Oh, you're helping coach real estate. What's that all about? How much do you get paid?" I said, "You know what? We're building businesses here. I'm helping to mentor people to build businesses. And frankly, it just happens to be in real estate and what we do." So the fact that there's so much value here and we want to put you in the right spot where you belong it's incredible, and I love it. And that's why I can stand behind it. And that's why I think all these incredible coaches will stay and continue coaching and mentoring other business owners. So I just want to say thanks for that. And I think that's a big difference that sets us apart from all the other people that you hear about that are ripping people off. And that's what brought me here, and that's what's going to keep me here.
And I'm going to add to that. I'm just jump on there. I make more money in my other businesses and my investments than I do coaching real estate. But the reason I'm here is there's a pay that money can't buy. And Bill hit on it earlier, and some other guys said that, Bill had a part of the story of Chris and Ariane, and I had a part of Bill's story, and Justin had a part of our story, and all these parts, like, you can't buy that. You can't buy that. So it's pretty cool, right? So money is a qualifier, right? Because we have to spend our time, we choose, money is finite for all of, or time is finite for all of us. So we spend our time where we can make some sort of return, but I'm in it for this return, these type of returns, the people that you can help. Bill said it for his team. I feel the same way about my team. And I see the real estate education piece and the people in the house flipping formula family, house flipping family, like that's just an extension of that. So I get a lot of value out of that, as do some of these other people. So that's why I'm here too.
Yeah, I just want to say real quick too, I've been involved in some of those transactions where we turned away money, and it's a real thing. It's not a marketing line that we say. If it's not a good fit, we don't do it. And I will say too, we've talked a lot about time being very important to all of us on this call right now. We build businesses so that we have time, right? But we're all here right now doing this because this is how much we believe in the program. This is how much we believe it can help you. And this is how much it's helped us. And we feel obligated, like we want to give back, and we want to talk about what it's done for us. So I was very anti-coaching anything for my whole life, and certainly early on in my real estate investing. And I knew Justin, I got involved, and I'm not only like saying, "Hey, this did a lot for me," but I'm willing to put my face right on Facebook Live and talk to you and say, "I believe in this. I believe this is important for you if you really want to build a business, and stop running around like crazy trying to figure it out on your own. This is what you need to do," right? It just is. And this is the only group that I've ever seen in real estate in the whole 10 years I've been in it that has this level of integrity. There's just not a bad person among us. And if you even went to like Flip Hacking Live, where that's like everybody, right? It's a huge thing. I had so many people walk up to me and say, this is the greatest group of people I've ever been around. I've not found one selfish, mean-spirited, negative. It's just all positive, all good stuff, and people who want to help and share. So it's done a ton for me. I know it's done a ton for Mike and our business. And, this is where you need to be, around these kind of people if you want to succeed, in my opinion.
So the funny thing is we had that, not debate, but conversation when Mike and I decided to join the 7-Figure Flipping, and it was a big investment. I mean, coaching is a big investment, but when you're around the right people, you wouldn't believe the amount of nuggets that you can get that more than pays for the cost up front, almost off the cuff. So literally the story of our first meeting, we just happened to be sitting next to Bill, and in a off breath comment, he mentioned what he was paying for his postcards. Us switching our mail house paid for the entire coaching, everything for the entire year. Not to mention the entire exponential growth of our business, but one little off comment that Bill felt was not much worth mentioning saved us the entire amount of our upfront fee. So, when you're in a group like these, in any group, if you choose to become part of it, but you're putting your odds as a higher point to be around one of those off-point comments, not to mention just the additional direct conversation and coaching that's a part of it. But, you're around a lot of people that are spinning around a lot of ideas and trying a lot of different things, and something's going to rub off.
It's awesome. Okay. I know someone else is going to say something. So guys, we're over time. I don't want to take any of your time. We could stay forever. Thank you so much for everyone who was on this call, who participated, who shared your knowledge and expertise. Thank you for all of you who are joining us tonight. I feel humbled. I don't know. Every day I want to pinch myself that I get to do this. Like Bill mentioned, it's not always easy, but I love it. And it's you guys seeing your success that drives me and keeps me going. And I'm like living my dream. So thank you all. It could not be possible without you. It's truly you guys that make this community so amazing. So thank you all. So once again, you can click on the link below now. If you're watching the replay, you can go to houseflippinghq.com/coaching if you're watching live, or click on the link below if you are watching the replay of this. Thank you all. Everyone have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. If you are listening to this during the replay and Christmas is over, go kick some butt. Well, kick some butt in 2018 regardless. You guys can do this. I mean, literally, I had a bunch of people reach out and say, hey, we wouldn't mind hopping on and sharing our story too. I'm like, I can't have everyone on. We've already gone over. So many people in this community are changing lives, changing their lives, changing the lives of their family and their children and their children's children, right? From what the actions they are taking now. If you want a different result, it's time to do something different. And we would love to work with you guys the rest of this year and going into 2018 if you will have us. And that's it. Love you all, and we will talk to you soon. Bye. All right, well, if you're still here, that means you made it to the end of the webinar. Congratulations. You may now fill out the application below, and we cannot wait to work with you through the rest of this year and going into 2018 to change your life, just like so many of the people on this call have, and so many other people in the House Flipping HQ community and 7-figure flipping programs. We look forward to working with you. And like I said, regardless of where you are in your business, this specific application is for our high-level 7-figure flipping students. However, we've kind of adapted and adjusted it so that even if you're new to the business, you can still go ahead and fill out that application, and someone from our team will be in contact with you to help make sure you get in the program that's the right fit for you, so you can grow with the right community and learn the basics first, and then create that business that will change your life completely. So that's all I got, guys. I can't wait to work with you. Fill out the application, and we will see you on the flip side. Bye-bye.